Charles, you've had a very interesting journey as a professional. You started in corporate America, you went to the highest levels in corporate America, then you switched to the entrepreneurial path, and you actually had your doctorate degree, and you're a professor. I really want to know how you made all this possible. I mean, you have a brilliant career. What do you think have been the most crucial moments in your path as an entrepreneur and as a corporate leader?
Voy a hablar en un mix de inglés y español.
Bueno, le pregunté que más o menos su trayectoria y cuáles han sido sus.
Pero cuando era un niño, mi familia es muy pobre, pero rico en el corazón, ¿sí? Entonces yo solamente tuve fe en Dios y yo traté muchas cosas. Para mí la idea es que si yo tengo educación bien, tengo un futuro bueno, porque educación es la única cosa que puede ganar, y cuando dormir y cuando matar, tú puedes traer contigo. Pero dinero a veces bueno, a veces baja. Entonces mi idea es que yo quiero tener más rico de inteligencia, porque si cuando tiene inteligencia y cuando tiene un corazón bueno, la gente quiere trabajar contigo, quiere dar oportunidades para ayudarte por su puedo hacer una buena vida, un buen correo y todo. Entonces para mí yo no sé, para mí es más que yo sé las cosas que es muy buena para mí, que yo sabe cómo hacer bien. Para mí es relaciones. Yo tengo muy bueno con relaciones. Me gusta la gente, me gusta escuchar bien la vida de la gente. Y cuando tú sabes la gente bien, puedes pensar qué ideas que yo puedo hacer. Entonces, para mí, yo pienso que yo puedo vender cosas. Cuando era un niño, yo vendí dulces en la escuela. Para poco dinero, yo vendí los dulces ¿cómo se dice? Secundaria, escuela secundaria. Es un poca idea, pero un grupo de amigos míos, tuve un chiquito paquetito de dulces, chocolates. Un día vende como un paquetitos como $30 un día. Y mis amigos como toca el dinero y disfruta bien, muy bien. Pero yo pienso que no, yo quiero ganar más. Entonces ¿cómo se dice? I took my money.
Say it in English.
Okay. I took the money that I made and I went to the store and I spoke with the manager of the store. And I told the manager, yo expliqué al jefe de tienda que yo quiero un negocio en mi escuela de dulces. Y yo lo vi una cosa muy pequeña, la fecha de dulces. It has an expiration date. You understand me? Yeah. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm trying my Spanish.
Digo, señores, lo hacemos en inglés, tan cómodo en inglés.
But
Charles, go ahead, man.
You understand me en español bien? Oh, gracias Dios.
No cojamos lucha, Charles.
No chivos, entonces no chivas. Entonces yo hablé con.
Say it in English.
Okay, I spoke with the manager of the store, and I told him I want to make money, and I noticed that you have all of this candy in the store, but you don't sell it every day. But Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, holidays. So what happens to the candy when you don't sell? He said, we lose a lot of money here. We lose a lot of money. I said, because candy, it goes bad, just like anything, like chicken, like anything goes bad. So I told him what I was doing. He said, you know what? We sell the candy back to the manufacturers for like 25 cents. Sometimes we don't make any money. This is a bag that costs $2.50. So I tell the guy, I will buy it for 25 cents, what you would make it for the manufacturer. he liked the idea, so he sold me these bags of candy for 25 cents. One bag I would make $5. I took my business in 1990 from $30 to $125 a day. In 1990. I made more money than my mother at home. I was
how old were you,
giving
Charles?
money to people.
How old were you?
I was 17 years old.
Okay.
17.
Amazing.
But the point of the question is how did I start? I started by thinking very small and thinking about how I can make what I learned bigger. Like a lot of times we try to look for the biggest opportunity, but your success has to start small. It has to start small. And then once you begin to become successful, you think about how you can take that same energy and do something bigger. And that's what I did my whole career.
Charles, you spent years working in corporate America in the technology sector. How do you see the technology landscape changing these companies, these big Fortune 500 companies? How are they being transformed by technology?
It's scary. I spent, so he told you a little bit about me, but I was a vice president over at Citigroup, Banamex Bank, etc. When I was there, my job was to basically get rid of people's jobs, to automate their jobs, to take what they did every day and bring in a technology that would do it. So if you were an analyst, then I would work with people to create a program to do the analysis. And so, over time, it wound up being, very important to automate as much of the operations. And at JP Morgan, I was an executive director for them as well. And I moved all the jobs again to technology development. But here's the thing with it. You got to understand why the companies have to use technology. And people don't understand it. Investors want more money. They want more money. They invest and they buy stock of Banamex, and they want to get more investment from their money. So the only way that a company can bring back money if they can't find new clients is to reduce the operation costs. So if I reduce the operational expenses of the lights, of the facilities, less computers, less people, then I can bring back millions of dollars. So now the focus has been how much more technology can we create to get rid of jobs and reduce costs. So it's very, very important, and it's very scary for somebody who is not in technology. You're going to lose. Unless you're a chef. We still need people to cook food. You're a chef, good job. Keep doing it.
And Charles, you've been very invested in technology, but specifically in mobile technology. What are we seeing now in the mobile technology landscape, and how are bigger companies and even entrepreneurs using mobile technology to their advantage?
I'll tell you right now, and I had a couple of conversations with some people before we started. Think mobile first. Then think about what business you want to do. Think mobile first. Then the business you want to do. If you don't understand it, let me tell you. People walk around with their phones. I'm here right now talking to you. He's on the phone, he's on the phone, he's on the phone. Everybody's on the phone. Don't worry, keep using your phone. You're helping me. You're helping me. And now imagine if you had a business. He's a customer, she's a customer. That's the power of mobile. You always have customers. They're walking around all day long. So as soon as you go mobile, you inherit over 100 billion Apple users or whatever, you get all of these people who have an Apple device. That's what you get day one. Mobile is the future. So think mobile first, and then what products and services you want to do, and you'll be surprised. You'll turn a profit a lot faster. You reduce on the marketing expenses. You don't have to spend so much money when your business is in the App Store and the Android store, right? You can go to sleep. I always tell people, think mobile, think business, and think about what you can sell 24/7. The good thing about mobile is that when you think of a business now, you think about hours of operations. My store opens at 9, it ends at 5. With mobile, you have no store hours. It's 24/7. It's the future.
You know Dominican Republic. You've been here many times. What type of sectors are you seeing in the general entrepreneurial landscape that are not using mobile as they should? Like, are you seeing specific sectors that you think are lacking in their vision of what they can do with mobile?
That's a pretty tricky question, and it's a good one. I don't have a whole bunch of observation with DR. I don't know a lot about it. But what I can tell you that I do see with DR is that no one knows what you're capable of doing. Just don't know. People don't know the potential. That's why I'm here. I think that DR is the future. I think it's the future of the technology hub. I think it's going to be the #1 IT outsourcing country in the world. It's going to move away from China. It can move away from India. You're closer to mainland. You're closer to the U.S. You got smart people. They just need to know who you are. That's the biggest issue. But if you ask me what can you really do, is think about all the businesses you've been servicing now today, all of your businesses, everything you do, and figure out how to make a mobile application. Forget about websites. Websites, they take too long to load up. The graphics, it's too much processing. Just think about how you could take your business today. It could be, for example, in the U.S., I advised, am I going too far? Is it okay?
No, go ahead.
I advised a cleaning business. It was a person in New Jersey. He had a dry cleaning business. And basically, he was trying out how to get more customers. I said, why don't you create a mobile application? And what that mobile application would do is it allow people to hit a button and say, pick up my clothes. Just that simple. Pick up my clothes. Why is that application important? What do we normally do? If our clothes get dirty, we wait until it gets a big bag of dirty clothes and then we go. Right? We don't go for like one shirt or one suit. But if now you have a button that you can say, pick up my clothes, you'll get your clothes cleaned more frequently. That sweater that you ladies like to wear and stuff, you'll wear it more often because you'll hit the button and they'll pick it up. And that's where the future is. People, they want the convenience of a phone. Right now you can get anything. Domino's, Starbucks, it's all online. It's all mobile apps.
You know, I was just talking to a group of youngsters that have an app. And one of the biggest issues they have is to get a minimum part of that billion people you're talking that are in these platforms, you know, that have smartphones, and get some of those users, you know, to use their app. What would you recommend to entrepreneurs that are going into the mobile space? They probably have an app that it's, you know, probably designed and or is already, you know, in the app store. How can they get users? How can they get visibility? You know, there's tons of apps out there. How can you actually get leverage in this sector?
Social media. Just that simple. Social media. Social media is very, very, very scary. It's so fast. It's a lot of information, and you can make mistakes. Really. Big ones. You post the wrong thing, now it's there, and somebody done saw it, and it's too late to take it off. literally, don't butt dial yourself. Make sure you lock your phone. You sit down. You may have just sent something to the cloud. You know what I mean? So, but social media is very, very powerful. And I think that if you have an idea, the first thing you should do is leverage your social media network. I was speaking to, the gentleman name over here. I'm sorry, what's your name? Sorry to put you on the spot. Nobody, not you, Armando. William. So he introduced me to him early and told me about a tourism business. And just literally through a little bit of socialization, I have a deal right now with the ambassador's wife of Zimbabwe. She has a tourism business. She's been trying to figure out how to take it. Within a couple of seconds, I picked up the phone, put him in contact with the ambassador's wife of Zimbabwe. Hopefully, they're going to do some good business. But then what happened with me was he didn't realize it, but then I got it back. Again, she wrote me back and said, thank you so much, you're a good friend. And then I wound up getting more business. Thank you very much. And and it all happened with just in a social interaction. Now imagine if I was to have posted his statements to my Facebook or to my LinkedIn, he would have been much faster, much further, and more of my network. That is social media. I got him somewhere, but we could have done it faster. And that's the scary part about social media, is that you got to control it. So as well as it can help your business, it can hurt you if you put it out the wrong way. So I will say this, I know you didn't ask me, but before you go to social media, make sure you scope your business idea well. Don't just put it on social media. Make sure you have a real product that they can buy. They hit the link, it don't work, you get no business.
You talked earlier and mentioned that the DR has this big potential.
Yes.
And we usually hear the term nearshore as one of our main advantages with regards, for example, with Asia, that they're tons of hours away from the U.S. mainland, and to make business with them is complicated because of that. What are some other benefits of this being a nearshore country that people maybe don't think about it too much that are not in the business?
It's a very good question. I just want to reiterate it. I think DR is one of the best places to be right now in the IT space. It is. And why? I'll tell you why. It's like, why? Because you're closer to a U.S. standard. You understand the culture. And when I was at Citigroup, we put all the business over in India. We encountered a lot of issues. One was there was an accent issue. We couldn't understand them very well. That was one. That could be anywhere. The big thing was that the customers in the U.S., they were too far apart, so they couldn't get someone that could speak to them during the time zones. Time zone is everything. If I'm an executive, I don't want to get on a plane and spend 24 hours flying to Singapore to do business. I'd rather get over here in 4 hours, sit down with my team, and do business. That's what makes this place very, very, very good. It's very inexpensive. Also, the resources, it's still very competitive. When we first started going to India and China for IT, you can get pretty much a resource for a few $1,000s a year. They really would do work for very, very low income. But now they're so close to a U.S. standard. To get an IT resources in China is somewhere like about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. In India, it's a little lower than that, but about $30-something thousand a year. And here, it's like half of that, if not lower, to get that IT resource. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why would I want to go and work and take $10,000, $11,000 a year? It's an entry point. Those countries started off that low, but then they got themselves to a high point. So if I was to build a factory here, say I decided I'm going to build like IT outsourcing here, I would steal the business from China and India by lowballing them by less than half of the price that I would pay in China and India, show them a good product, and then increase every year by 10%. I'll be very well competitive by then, and then I could prove my near shore time zone value. Does that make sense? So what I would say to you is if you have a business, what I just told you, you can do yourself. If you take around and take your business that you have right now and take the price down to attract and bait US, then you can bring up your business value price year over year, make it kill. We're looking for the next China and India. We're looking for we could get the best deal for our money. And it's just too expensive now in China and in India.
Charles, I know in Latin America there are some countries that are already, starting to become of interest to U.S. investors in terms of the nearshore advantage. Argentina, Costa Rica are some of the countries that are already capturing some of the business in the IT sector. How can we compete with them, accelerate maybe our capabilities of attracting more investors from the U.S. to come here to make business with us? What can we do to become more attractive? Because right now, there's the potential, but how can we capitalize that potential?
Well, first of all, Costa Rica is very expensive. I know I tried to buy a place there 2 years ago. It's very expensive. It's a U.S. standard. So when you talk Costa Rica, you're still talking the U.S. I think the way that you capture a U.S. market is that you first have to be known. Nobody knows that this place, they don't, first of all, in technology space, they just don't know how smart you are in technology. It is going to take lots of marketing. You will have to invest. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want you to feel like I'm telling you, go right ahead, put it up on Facebook, and people are going to spend. No, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to do some proving, where I think the challenge is, if I could say what's a downside to DR is one thing. The biggest thing for me would be stability. Power outages, making sure that things are up and running. Because when you do business, you don't want your supplier to have an outage and you can't call them. And I don't know if that's a you guys' issue as much as a government creating the right infrastructure to support your business ideas. Follow me? Do I make sense? Okay.
You think in terms of education, we're there to be able to compete?
I think education, you guys are terrific. I've been here again over I came here one time 2 months ago, and I went to the cybernetic park. I was absolutely impressed. Students are really smart, very talented. I just did business with this guy here. He's making me business cards. I don't know how much you're going to charge me. But he just showed me a digital card, and he just digitized my card right here. And I'm about to go and pay for it, and he's going to print it out for me by tomorrow. That's pretty impressive to me. But do I think the education is here? Absolutely. Do I think, listen, and this is going to be just a little hard on the U.S., but the U.S. system, when it comes to very strong technical skills, they don't really have that capability. That's why we go and we recruit people from India, because they're really, really big on the technical certifications, et cetera. U.S. is good on the business side, social aspects of business, very good at that. We have great MBA schools, great finance schools, but when it comes to technology, I think we look to outsource that. We look for it outside of the U.S., and that's to your advantage.
Very interesting. Charles, and you're a leadership expert. You've been advising entrepreneurs, and even your doctorate and part of your master's has been in leadership for entrepreneurs. What do you think, as entrepreneurs or as aspiring entrepreneurs, we can learn or really pay attention to before we start a business or in those initial stages? How do you think we can become better entrepreneurs here in the DR?
I think what you got to do is don't think of your business as selling shoes. Some people look to try to make a quick sell. Some people actually invest the time to build the customer relationship. That's a level of maturity you have to have, right? Where you sit back and you develop a relationship over time. And I think that if you're going to be a good leader, you have to be very empathetic. Well, I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from, but you need to be very understanding of the client. You need to know your business. You have to be willing to take some risk. You have to challenge yourself. You have to also feel comfortable to share your ideas with others. You have to collaborate. You have to have integrity. You have to be trustworthy. You have to demonstrate trust all the time. You got to meet the expectation. If you say something, do it. You have to be honest. If you cannot do it, don't say you can. A lot of people make a mistake that way. They say they could do everything, but they cannot. Right? And the other thing about being a leader is you have to have a social aspect to leadership. You know, there are different types of leaders, but the ones that get the money are the one that come and shake the person's hand. Some people came and shook my hand. Some people, I don't know if they shook hands of other people here, but if you come to the startup grind and the only thing you did was listen to me, then you might have just missed your next business partner. You might have missed your next investor. That's what really is the secret to the business. I'm here looking at each and every last one of you as an opportunity. I'm going to shake everyone's hand if I can before you go, and listen to you, because that's what I do. I'm shocked. These two guys over here, spoke with them for a little bit, and if you definitely got to meet with these guys before you go. They have a very interesting concept. One says that he sells feelings. He sells feelings, and I like it because you're right. You gotta reach people here and sell them your idea, and he sells feelings. And I love it. I love that concept. I'm going to use it, by the way. Hope you don't have it copywritten, but I'm using it.